Welcome to New York. Tracy is trying to be cool, but she's not. Welcome to New York. We've been waiting for you. Roger, sit. My hand is shaking, okay? What is the handle?
Why?
Hi, I'm Julia. On Twitter, I'm Tay Shake It.
Hi, I'm Tracy. On Twitter, I'm at You're Too Cute Tay. Hi, I'm Bridget. On Twitter, I'm at Bridget with like a 13 sign. We're the Fearless Fab. We're
That's
three
important.
eighths.
So 37%?
37.5% of the Fearless Fab. Here we are.
Alright, we sponsor Poland Springs. On Tuesday, September 30th, I woke up to a DM from Taylor Nation, and they were like, we've heard that you're a really big fan of Taylor's, and we'd like to know more about you. Could you please email us, like, more information about you? So then, that was wild.
It was crazy.
That was wild. So then I, like, started hysterically sobbing and told my mom.
Okay, so I got the DM, and it was a Tuesday.
It was a typical Tuesday
morning, and I was sleeping.
Yeah,
and because 15,
It was a
and I
school
go to
night,
school.
Taylor Nation.
Yeah, Taylor Nation, it was a school night.
We have to go to school, and
Taylor
I
Nation was
threw my phone at my mom, and she was like, "Huh?" And I'm like, "Mom," and she's like, "Huh?" And then I told her, and she was like, "Oh my god!" And then I went to school.
I was freaking out all day at school. I had to go to dance, so I was at dance freaking out, like, what if they call me and I'm dancing and I don't get to call them back and they don't love me anymore? So then, when I got home, I was taking a shower, and I was listening to Taylor, and then I got out of the shower and I was, like, chilling, you know, just the usual, and I'm, like, I'm, like, playing Taylor on my phone, and I had 4%, and then my phone, like, it said I was getting a call from New York, and I was like, oh dear God. So then I answered it, and she was like, hi, I'm from Taylor Nation, this is Bridget, and I was like, oh my God, yeah. And I was screaming into the phone that I was in a towel. Like, I'm like trying to like put on a robe and like charge my phone, and I'm like screaming, and she's like, well, while you're waiting for your charger, like, and she was like, you're a member of the Fearless Fab, right? And I was like, yeah.
We still don't get that.
No, I don't like that, but then she just like asked me like questions about me, and then after she asked me a bunch of questions and my phone was charging, she's like, can your mom come in? And I was like, yeah. So my mom came, and then she was like, all right, well, we're calling to invite you to a secret event. And then my mom was just like, oh my God. I was like, oh my God, oh my God. And so she like told me like I was invited, and then she was like, how long have you been a fan of Taylor for? And then I couldn't talk, and I was like, since I was 10. And then she's like, well, since you're under 18, you have a few options. You could have a parent come. You could have, are you eating a Kit Kat?
Am I allowed to?
She was like, you could have...
We endorse Kit Kats too at
Oh
this
my
Fearless
God.
Fab event.
She was like, you could have a parent come, you could have a parent sign off that you're allowed to come, or you could bring a friend that's 16 or older. So then I was like, Julia. And then she was like, what? And I was like, Julia, call her. And so then she's like, what's her Twitter? And I was like, Tay Shake It. And then she like was looking for, like, she, like, I don't know, I got the vibe that she was like looking for it. And she's like, oh yeah. She's like, we'll like check if through security, and then if we call her, we'll call her sometime tomorrow. And so they're like, you can't tell Julia about this until she gets the call, and then you guys can freak out. So,
And then you guys can figure out.
yeah, so then I was like, wait, how do you guys know about the Fearless Fab? And she was like, don't think that your efforts go unnoticed. Like, we see your stuff online all the time, and we've heard about you guys online, so don't think your efforts go unnoticed. And then, yeah.
I was in school because 15, so
Yeah, we're not going there.
walked in the hallway, looked at my phone, and it was like, you got a missed call and a voicemail from like some number that I don't know from New York, and I'm like, and then, so they're like, hey, is this Tracy? And I'm like, yeah. My mom in on the call, and I go into like the kitchen, and it's like on speaker on my kitchen table, and we're all just like leaning down on the phone, like, and then she's like, my mom's like really excited. She's like, you're being really quiet, and my mom just like, she's literally like on the floor, and I'm like hanging hang up, just hang up. And then we hung up. And we're like, she's like, see you soon. And I'm just like,
and they call me. And so I'm like, oh my God, dad. So we like put the car in park and we're like sitting in the car. I put on speaker. I'm like, hello. And then she's like, hi, is this Juliet? I'm like, yeah. And she's like, this is from TaylorSwift.com. And I'm like, and she's like, are you a really big fan of Taylor Swift? And I'm like, yeah. And I just start sobbing. I just start crying. I start crying. She's like, well, tell me about it. Like, how long have you been a fan of Taylor Swift? So I'm like, I just like start telling her my whole life story. And she's like, you're so cute. I'm like, oh my God. She's like, you're also a member of the Fearless Fab, right? And I'm like, what's that? And I'm like, yeah. I'm just crying. What's that? I'm just like, yeah. So, and then she like told me that Bridget was invited too, and I was like, oh my God.
She told you that I was invited?
She was like, your friend Bridget, you know Bridget, right? And I'm like, yeah, I know Bridget. I think I know that one. She's like, yeah, she was invited too, and I'm like, oh my God. And I'm just like crying, like, oh, because you tell me Bridget, like, I was just gonna cry right now. Like that's what I was on the phone. She was laughing at me. Crying. Like she was laughing at me so hard. She was like, I was like, oh my God, Bridget. Bridget! So like, I didn't know that. Oh no.
Thursday was the longest day of my entire life. Like I sat in class staring at the clock.
Oh yeah, so then Julia came over and like she like pulls into my driveway and we're like, yeah, but like neither of us were really excited. We were just kind of like, yeah, whatever. And I was like making Taylor a scrapbook. Like I made her this really big scrapbook.
low-key scrapbook.
It's the biggest scrapbook ever.
Okay, so Friday.
Friday, we woke up,
The day of the event.
wake up, smell the breakup, train, and on the train, I was like sharing headphones with Julia, and I kept putting on all these, like, I put on Sweeter Than Fiction and like trying to make her cry.
We're like, all right, taxi. Can't be late.
And then like when we came in, I saw Ariel, Starlet Swift.
shout out.
Shout out to you,
Squad
girl,
6.
Squad 6.
And she like comes up and we're like, Tracy!
Yep.
And that's like,
Then we saw this weirdo in like a crop top situation.
and then we were
Whoa,
like,
that weird.
Oh and yeah.
And then we all came to the realization that we were meeting Taylor, and we just
We were
like,
all freaking out.
we just like cried.
And then like I saw like the camera guy and I was like, yo, we're gonna be on camera. So I like gave my mom my jacket so I would look good. And then he like recorded us and we were all
And
just
we
waiting.
were, like, waiting.
We had to like sign in and they didn't ask me for the code word, so I was like, can I just say it anyway? And I did, and they told me I did a good job. Like into the next room. They were like, what are your names? And I was like, Bridget. And then she's like, oh, you're the Fearless Fab girl. And then she said that she was Julia. She's like, isn't there a third one of you coming? And we're like, yeah, Tracy's outside. And I was like, could you take my scrapbook and like, could you give my scrapbook to Taylor? And she's like, there's a very good chance. And then like winked, and I was like, oh my God, okay.
And then we were like, said name, we love you.
Like all they do, Taylor Nation, like I think in staff training they get taught how to wink. Like that's like what they do.
There's staff training for Taylor Nation.
Yeah.
All they do is like throw hints. Like,
Yes.
Yeah, then the guy was like, you guys are crazy, I have to interview you. And we're like, okay.
And then we just told the story about our call.
Yeah, and that was in the secret session video. It kept going online. Then we saw the girl that like we got the call from.
And we
were
like gave her
freaking
the biggest
out.
hug ever.
Yeah, love her. And then we got our wristbands and everything. And
Squad
Squad 6 was happening because we were Group 6, Squad 6.
And then we
Shout
we
out to
sat
all
in
you
our
Squad
chairs for
6.
like 3 years.
Yeah, we sat in that secret location for like 6 years waiting to leave because we were on the second bus. We were the first people for the second bus. And so then like eventually Tracy and Ariel, like all of them, they were like coming into the room too. So after we sat there for a while, we were all talking, and
that's when Squad 6 created and became
Squad 6
really
became the-
annoying.
yeah, we
and
just
started chanting.
chanting.
Yeah,
we were just like
we're
Squad
so
6,
annoying.
Squad 6,
And everyone was
Squad
just
6.
Hated
Yeah.
us.
Even Taylor Nation joined in. Like they were like Squad 6. It was great. We got onto the bus, sat front row, and like Olivia and Tracy sat together, and then Julia and I sat together, and then Ariel was behind us with the boy, and we all held hands and prayed.
Oh yeah, I led the prayer.
We got stopped
Thank
at a
you.
red light for like 10 minutes, and that was torture. Everyone started screaming, and then everyone's like, Carly Kloss! And I'm like, what? I look, and Carly Kloss is just standing there at the front door.
And then they made us get our screams out before we went in.
yeah, and then they said, take a deep breath, and then
And
we had to
everyone
calm
screamed,
down.
and we're like,
And then we were told we had to be quiet.
And then we ran out of the bus, and we went inside, and I was like, oh my
I
God,
left the
we're
Swift
being
Honda
let in.
up the stairs.
Yeah,
and
Tracy was
Olivia.
front of the stairs.
It was rough because we couldn't even stop because if we stopped, everyone would stop.
Yeah, it was 6 flights of stairs.
That was crazy.
It was awful.
Yeah.
And then we were like all waiting, and everyone was like holding hands basically. And the Taylor Nation girls were like, "Are you ready? are you ready? And then they opened the doors.
Oh my god.
Oh my god, that moment. And we were like, and then we all like walked in so fast and we just like looked around and we were like,
I walked in and I looked up and I saw like a picture of Austin like on the wall and I was like, this is like a Taylor Swift museum, like the ones in Disney World for like Minnie Mouse. Like that's what it felt like. And so I'm like looking around and I thought that I was playing it really cool. Like I started crying like one of the first times was then because it wasn't hitting me until then. But I was like, no, I gotta stay cool until like if Taylor comes out, like whatever's happening. So
Whatever's happening.
But then apparently I didn't stay so cool. So we came in and we sat down and we like managed to get us into the front row.
We created our own front row.
Yeah, we made our own front
row. We made
row.
a front row extension.
And then Julia was getting food and
for all of them, not just for me.
yeah. And then the moms like saved our seats and then we went like walking around the apartment and we went into the kitchen and I sat down at the kitchen counter and I was like, this isn't my life. And then Taylor Nation was like, oh, it is, and like winked and I was like, oh my god.
The wink.
And we were just like looking around the kitchen at like all like the cool stuff that she has. Like it's just so like Taylor. And then we kept walking around. We went into a room that had all these Polaroids in it. That was really cool.
And then we went to a bedroom and Meredith was in there.
Yeah, it was like this white room, and then Meredith was like sitting on the windowsill, and it was so dramatic. Like she was looking out at the city. And
she's really soft.
yeah, we were petting her, and I was like, "Thanks for talking to us, Mare." And then she's like, "Rah."
Yeah, she like didn't purr. She like
growled.
She like growled. It was like a.
Yeah, I'm concerned. Like the fame has gotten to her. And then we heard everyone start screaming, and we were like, what is happening? So I thought that I like missed it. So then Julie and I ran into the living room, and we see Tracy, and we're like, what happened? And she's like, oh, nothing. They just told us to scream. And we're like, oh, good. So we were like, all right, we should sit down. People.
And then she comes downstairs, and she's just like.
And like she did that, and like she was real. So then I started like hysterically.
I found her.
She came in, and she was like, hi guys. And, she just and we're like, and then she's like, oh, say hi to my friend Carly, like
Carly Claus.
And she was there for like literally like 30 seconds, and then
she left.
And then Taylor was like, oh, wish her good luck at work, and we were like, good luck, good luck. She's like, you guys are so sweet. We were like, you're Carly Claus, like. Sleeps, and then Taylor's like making her way.
Then Taylor's like, it's our time now. Like,
Yeah.
it's a go.
Taylor's like walking around, like she's walking right by us, and we're like, we won't trip you, queen.
We're like,
no, you can go by, it's okay.
Okay,
So she's like standing in front of her chair, and she's like saying like, oh, like I'm so glad you guys could all come. Like, I don't know if you guys like know what you're here for, and she's like kind of introducing herself. And then
Like,
she's
we don't
like,
know who she is.
yeah, and then she's like, just cuts herself off, and it's like, Patty, I'm so glad you could come, and Patty died. And then she like kept pointing out different people, and she was like, where is like the farthest person from, and like some faraway place in Canada. Okay, so then people like were like shouting where they're from, and then like the four of us were just like Jersey.
And then she keeps her head around.
Yeah, she like turns out, she looks at us, and then she's like, you're the Fearless Fab, right?
And we're just like
Oh,
she pointed out Ariel too before us.
Oh yeah, she pointed out Ariel.
And Ariel's like, you're not real. Like, she's literally like, Ariel's like, are you kidding me right now?
Then
She took a
Then
seat.
we came back to like,
Then she
we
took
were
a
like,
seat.
okay,
yeah, then
listen
she
to
took a
this
seat,
album.
and she's like, okay, like I'm gonna play my album for you, 1989. Would you guys like to hear it?
And we're like, no.
Yeah, this one girl's like, why would we say no? And she's like, I don't want to be presumptuous. That was Patty.
Okay, it was so, Patty, you were so cute if you're watching this. And every time Taylor would say a word, she'd be like, what does that mean? And we'd be like, oh my god, you're so cute.
She's talking about how she moved to New York, and she's like, I really didn't have any valid reason to move to New York. And I was like, it was because of us, right? And then she was like, yes, because I want to stalk you guys even more. And I was like, oh my god, okay.
Oh my god. And then she said she was really excited to play it for us specifically,
Yeah.
and we were like,
Why?
We were like, why? And then she's like, this is called Welcome to New York. And then she
And we're
played
like,
it, and we were
oh.
like,
Yeah,
oh my god.
that's like our anthem.
As soon as it ended, I was like, this needs to be played at New Year's Eve in Times Square. As soon as it ended.
And she's like, yes, that's exactly what I was thinking. So then Taylor's like, yeah, and we can wear matching outfits. And we're like, okay. And
Whatever you say,
like,
Swift.
she was like, where's my water? And I don't know why I said this, but I took my water bottle. I was like, you can have mine. And apparently I made her laugh, but that was, I don't know
She was
why I
like,
said
thank
that.
you for sharing.
Yeah, she's like, thanks for sharing. She was like laughing. I was like, okay.
Oh, and then we asked her about the smart water thing.
So then she said like,
when the smart waters are like given to her, there's just a straw in it already, and she thinks it has to do with like her lipstick, but like she said she has no idea how it happens.
She's like,
So-
yeah.
So basically, it's still a conspiracy.
It is a conspiracy. So then she played like when she played Blank Space, like we were all freaking out, and we were like, you have to make that the next single, and it's gonna be a single November 10th.
So basically, you're welcome.
Yeah, we got you guys.
She kept looking at us like a lot.
Yeah, she
It
looked
was
at, like she kept
wild.
looking at like the four of us so much.
It was probably because we were all like having like a in sync panic attack, like
Yeah.
losing all the blood. in
Every
our
time that
body.
she would look at one of us, we would like punch them in the face. Like we'd get all excited. I actually remember with all I had to do was say like the first line. She sang it right to me, and then they were all like punching me in the face the whole time, and I was like, oh my gosh, she's singing to me.
Back to Blank Space. As soon as she played that song, Olivia screams, "That's gonna be my wedding song!"
And Taylor grabs her hand. She's like,
That's
"That's
not
not
your wedding
song." Because when she was playing her songs, like her phone like turned sideways.
Oh, I forgot about
She
that.
couldn't figure out how to like get it back, so we were trying to teach her. She was like, oh, during intermission you guys can show me how to fix it. We like taught her how to use like all this jazz, and she's like telling us how she's scared of having like she's like, where does it go?
Oh,
like
God.
yeah, she's like, if it goes on iCloud, like where does it go? Where is it?
And she was just doing her whole philosophy on how everything's like.
Yeah.
And then she's
She's
like,
so
all your
paranoid.
ugly selfies. And we're like, what
Yeah,
ugly
she was like,
selfies?
yeah, like all those ugly selfies. We're like, you don't have any. So I went and I like talked to her dad for a little bit, and then I went into like the piano room and I sat down at the piano and like went like that with the keys. And but I didn't play it. I'm a good kid.
And-
There's like this boy holding Olivia. Like shout out to you. I forget what your user is.
Guy
Swifty.
Swifty.
He was holding Olivia, and then he's like, "Do you want to hold her?" And I was like, "Yeah." So I was holding Olivia, petting her, and then everyone else was like, "Can I pet her?" So I like handed her off.
I got past hers at some point.
And so then after I held Olivia, Taylor was coming around with cookies, and I got one, and it was beautiful.
I had a Rice Krispie treat.
Yeah, then Julie got a Rice Krispie treat. I was like, "Can I have a piece of that?" And it was so great.
And she like holds like the thing like over all their heads, and she's just like, "Did you get one, babe?" And I'm like, all over my mom. And then I go back in, and I see everyone sitting down, ready for the album to start playing again.
I was like, you're literally already. I was like, I'm literally already relating to songs, and this is the first time I've heard it. And she looked at me. She's like, "That's what I want." And I was like,
She's like, "It's always you," and I'm just like, huh. And that's when she killed me for like the 8th time.
In the end, do we have to talk about that?
No,
song?
we're not talking about it.
I'll talk about it. So she played this song, and it was called "Clean." Makes me twitchy. And like I've never cried harder to a Taylor Swift song in my life. Like that sang a lot. And yeah, that was a painful experience. All right, so let's have a shake it off dance party. She like,
Off
puts on
come
shake
the
it off.
heels.
Yeah, she takes off the heels.
she like holds up
Pulls
in
them
the
up,
air.
and she's standing on her chair dancing. And we're like standing in front of her dancing. And
She's
she
like, "Taylor Swift, are you?"
Yeah. And so then after the song ends, she comes back to the front. So that was the best dance party of my life. And oh god.
Oh
Oh
God.
god, it hurts to say. So then she like hugged me, and she's like, "Oh, thanks, buddy." And I like hugged her the tightest I've ever hugged a person in my life, and I immediately started sobbing. Like I immediately went into Julia, and I was like, "Ah!" So I had to calm down. So I like sat on the couch by myself for a little bit to like compose myself, and people were coming up to me like, "Oh my god, she hugged you," and I'm like, "No, she didn't."
No, she didn't. It wasn't real.
So when we were on the second bus load, we had like an hour and a half to wait for Polaroids, which was like cool.
We like
so
we
not
walked around. We
complaining
like
at
picked
all.
up Grammys off the shelf,
And we were like
holding them.
exploring. So we go over to the pool table.
Yeah, I was like, "Can we play pool?" He was like,
And
"Yeah," and I
before
was like,
that-
"So where is everything?" He's like, "I can't tell you," and we're like, "Oh, so we can't play." But then Scott Swift is like, "Want to play pool, girls?" And we're like, "Yeah."
Yeah.
So then he got everything out, and I'm
He
like,
started like rearranging the whole apartment, like moving the furniture.
"Yeah."
and
He
we're
like
like,
moved
okay,
moved
for
the furniture
us.
so he could dance, and then like I went on one side, he went on the other, and he rolled me the ball, and I was like, "Go!" And I was like, "Oh my god, I don't know how to play pool." Like none of us knew how to play pool.
So we were just like doing fun stuff with the pool
Yeah, like
sticks.
playing like baseball. Like I was surprised we didn't break anything. Julia found a Polaroid of the three of us that Taylor Nation took while we were waiting for Taylor to come in the beginning, and we all look really, really cute, and we're all like really, really happy. So then like Mom was talking to people, but then she like came over to us, and she's like, "What are your names, girls?" And we were like, "Tracy, Bridget, Julia," and she's like, "Yay!" And then we asked her if she knew about the Fearless Fab, and she didn't. Like I told Mama like, there's 8 girls, we live all across the country, and we each send Taylor 1 letter a week, so she gets one every day from us, and they all match, and we just want her to know like that she's part of our lives every day. And her mom was like, "You guys are the reason why Taylor's the happiest I've ever seen her," and I was like, And she like thanked us, and then I was like, no, thank you for taking Taylor to Nashville when she was younger. And then like half an hour later, she was done telling the story of taking Taylor to Nashville.
Chatting.
Yeah, we asked her a bunch of questions, and we talked for a while, but then someone pointed out that it was almost our turn to like meet Taylor. So then her mom was like, thanks for being so inquisitive, girls. And we were like, okay. And then she hugged all of us, and I was like, thanks. And she hugged me.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, mama hugs are so nice.
They're so nice.
They're so nice.
Then we
okay.
Then we got online to get our Polaroids, and we were deciding like who was like gonna go first. So then we waited for a while.
We were just like
and-
chatting.
Yeah, we were just talking to Scott. We were talking to other Swifties. We were like holding the Billboard Awards and all this stuff.
I held the mean Grammy.
Yeah, I held the Me Grammy too. It felt nice. It was nice to hold that.
Made you feel good.
All the awards are very heavy.
They're so heavy.
Ariel,
Julia.
Olivia, you, me, Tracy. So then Ariel goes, and that was so cute. And then Olivia, it was her turn. She was so cute. And then it was Julia's turn.
And then it all goes downhill.
I was in the doorway watching Julia, like when Julia went up to Taylor, and I was hysterical. And then Taylor Nation was like, "Oh, you guys are the Fearless Fab, right?" And I was like, "Yeah." And then she was like, "Oh yeah, we love seeing your letters come in every day. Like we look forward to seeing the Fearless Fab letter. It makes us so happy."
Okay, so I was out of this little group. I was first, and I just like went up to Taylor and I gave her a really big hug, and she was like, and I was like, I don't even remember what happened. I was just like, hi, and then she like knew my name before I told her it, and I was like, oh my god. And so I basically like told her my like Swift story, which like I'm not gonna share because that's not really important. But I told her like how I discovered her and stuff like that, and like everything that she helped me with, and she like asked me if I was okay now, and I was like, yeah, I'm okay. I was like, I just like can't thank you enough, blah blah. And then I asked her if she got our letters. I was like, you know about our letter project, right? And she like looked a little confused. So I like began explaining it, and she like then she like grabbed my like wrist, or not like wrist, I don't know. She grabbed like my
Like your forearm like this?
yeah, like my
She did that
forearm.
so many times.
Yeah.
I'm just like, what are you
And
going?
she like looked me in the eyes, and she's like, yes, I know exactly what you're talking about. She's like, I'm sorry, I just like kind of forgot for a second. She's like, yes, I got all of your letters, and I read all of your letters, and I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, I sent you like a 5-page letter, one from camp. I was like, did you read it? She's like, yes, I read it, and she like quoted it. Wow, and then she was like, well, if the stars are aligned, Julia, what are you waiting for? And I was like, and I was like, true. And I was like, I love you so much. And she was like, I love you too. And she like gave me a hug. She like gave me a hug. And then I was like, thank you so much. And she's like, thank you for everything you do. Like nothing goes unnoticed, blah blah. And then she was like, okay, picture time. And I was like, okay. And then she was like, do you want to like read books? Do you want to like pretend to read books, or do you want to hold the moon man? And I was like, actually, can you like jump on my back and can I give you a piggyback ride? I was like, would that be okay? And she was like, yeah. And so like I'm like getting like ready to like for her to jump on my back. She's like, wait, are you strong? And I was like, yeah.
I heard her say
why?
that.
I was like, yeah, why? And she was like, I'm heavier than I look. And I was like, okay. And she jumps on my back. She's the lightest thing I've ever felt in my entire life, okay? Like, I cannot stress how light she is. She's not heavy at all. And she was like, I want a whole Fearless Fab picture. So then she like called Tracy and bridged it over.
Oh my god, when she went like, and I was
And
like, we're like, okay. Like, she said, she was like, yeah, Julia said that she wants you and her to be kissing my cheeks, and then
I'm just like, okay, they take one, and I said it too. I was like, okay, like they want one like with you, and then like I'll get it. She goes, we can only take one, and I'm like, okay, and I'm like, I'll like go and I'll like sit in like the front or something, and then she like, I still don't understand how that happened.
It was
with
like,
her
okay.
hands on top of me.
It was so
it was because I said, like I was like, Tracy, you could like go in front of us, and then Taylor's like, yeah, like kneel down in front of us, and I'll hug you.
That's what
happened.
she said.
So
then that happened.
that happened. So we took the picture of us kissing her cheeks, and it was really cute.
So then like I gave her a hug.
Yeah, and then she was like, okay, let's do individuals. And then Tracy was like, no, it's Bridget's turn, and like backed away. I like told her like a story of like how she helped me aside, and I kept like telling her how she's like always been here for me. And after I like told her the whole story, then she's like, I'm so proud of you. And I was like, okay.
I remember her saying that so clearly. Not like I was listening, but it was pretty loud.
Like I was telling her the story, and she's like, the whole time, she's like, oh my god, what happened? And I was like telling her, and then she like gave me advice, and she was like, oh, this is yours. So like, I don't know, I like that. And then she like gave me more advice. And so she kept hugging me, and then somehow it got off to like, I was talking about my friend Isabel and telling her about our friendship and how like she is the reason for it. And I was like, she said like, yeah, my goal was to meet the whole Fearless Fab, and I think I did it. And I was like, no, there's like one more person. And then I was like, yeah, but you met Isabel. And like, I kind of had to remind her a little bit, but I was like, yeah, like in Club Red in Nashville. And she was like, oh yeah, tell her I say hey. She was hugging me. Like every time I would start crying, she would, well, or almost cry. I guess she could feel it. She would like hug me. And then one of the times I was like, I love Clean. So now like whenever, I haven't listened to Clean very much because, you know, I can't. Like when Taylor was talking to me, it was like I was the only person in the room. And so she's like, okay, what pose do you want to do? And I was like, can we do like a cute best friend pose? So she's like, got it. And like, I didn't have any time to think. Like, it was just like, she wrapped herself around me. And I was so tight in there, I couldn't even move. They had like a mirror in front of it. Like, she had a mirror in her house, and it was right in front of where you meet her. So then she looks in the mirror after the flash goes off, and she's like, it doesn't get more adorable than that. And I was like, oh my god. So I was like, I'll keep writing you letters.
Walk a little away, and then like I like squeal and I run to her. So then like I hug her and she was like, you look so pretty tonight, and I'm like, thanks. If I had to like recreate it, it would probably sound something like, you be Taylor, like, and then I'm like, oh, and then I was like, yo, like we matching, like stop being me. And then so she had her nails the same color, and I'm like, stop being me. And then she's like, it's like the same black, and I'm like, and then she's like, it's like pretty edgy, and I'm like, yeah, but like I'm like not an edgy person though. And she's like, it's okay. I'm like, but so I'm like, it creates the illusion. She's like, yeah, I like it. Don't change it. I'm like, okay.
So she's never changing her nail polish.
Yeah, basically. And then she's like, do you have an idea to start a picture? And I'm like, yeah. But like, hold on. And then I kept going, and I'm like, and she was like holding my hands, and I'm like, thank you so much for everything. Okay, so we can I either want to do like a hugging picture, and because like cute, or like back to back, and like put like guns up. And she's like, let's do that because like no one does that, like no one's done that before. And we're like, okay. So we do that, and like she like gets on my, and I'm like, what kind of face are you gonna make? And she like did it, and I was like, whoa. And then we do the picture, and like I'm trying to like fix myself because I'm like, I just like got up and I'm like, yeah. And I'm like, wait, this is my picture with Taylor. And I like fix the hair, everything. Okay, so like snap the picture. She took the Polaroid of us, and then she's like, yeah, like I made like a sexy face, and I'm like, you did what? I think I said, I'm like, I'll see you soon. And then she's like, yeah, like I'll see you online. And I'm like, no. Like I'll see you on tour. And she's like, yeah, and I'm like, I'll see you at GMA. And she's like, you're going to GMA? And I'm like, yeah, like I'm going. Like I love you. Like I'm really going. And I'm just like, I don't want to go.
And we were all talking about like the call, and we were like, what did you skip to be here? And this one girl was like, oh, I skipped my first day of work. And I was like, I skipped a wedding.
Handle it. So we are out of the apartment.
Nose.
We were like walking down the street, and then the security was having us cross the street to get onto the bus. And I like was on the bus, and the guy was like, this is all a dream, it never happened. I'm like, it really was. And then I'm on the bus, like getting on, and I turn around, and like Tracy is in the middle of the road, a taxi is speeding at her, and everyone just screaming, like she almost died.
Thank you for watching the 37.5 of the Fearless Fab talk about the secret session. By the way, another person from the Fearless Fab went to the secret session. They went to Nashville, if you didn't know.
Yeah. Shout out to her.
Shout out to Rebecca.
We'll see you online.
See you online. Peace out. Can we just put it like,
1, 2, 3.
Thanks, Taylor Nation.
We love you.
We love you.